Alright, we are recording. We're in the Lost Temple, and honestly, I've been so focused on other things, I don't remember anything. That's one funny thing about doing a game like this that I do enjoy playing, is that, like, for the next 1 or 2 days after doing one of these sessions, I want to keep playing, but it's like, I can't, because it needs to be for this. But then I start working on something else, and then I'm like, oh my god, what did I just do? What am I trying to do here? Fortunately, this guy tells us.
This is the tale.
Can't hit enter.
Thus far. The drenched fort was dry, but the horsemen loosed its waters. And then the makers rejoiced, for their forge burned anew. From its fires they made a key, one which could awaken stone.
Alright, and to be clear, I wasn't saying that stuff in a lead-up to that. I realized halfway through talking about it that I could. It's like, oh yeah, I'll do that. Yeah, it just... That is what it's like. Anyway, let me look at this stuff, the stuff I have in the news here. And there's one other thing to it I can add. Let's start with the easy one and then the big one. So the easy one would be Dying Light 2 has been delayed. Unfortunately, did it say 2020? I don't remember if it did say 2020 is still the target year. But that makes 3 games that have been delayed. Well, that have had their announcements, the delay announcements made recently. Marvel's Avengers, Cyberpunk 2077 and Dying Light 2 all are delayed now. But of them, only the Dying Light 2 didn't give a new, at least release target, if not actual date. I'm trying to remember, did they give a date? No, wait, no, both of those I think were dates. Dying Light 2 is the only one that's like, we don't know. That is another game, by the way. I don't think I did a recording for that. That is another game that I reviewed that I may, like, do a Let's Play Plus kind of thing. I don't know. I did enjoy it. It wasn't... I actually have to look back at the review. Just remember, and it's... I did enjoy it. It just wasn't necessarily a standout game for me. Which may be part of the reason, you know, which in a way is a good reason for me to replay it, if I'm honest. Like, this was not really a great standout game for me, but I did have a better appreciation for it the second time I played it, which is also when I reviewed it. Ow. Let's... Good, I did get one. I didn't realize it was going to be that easy to kill. Okay, so that's the easy news. The big news, that I'm unsure how big it is, in part because I'm not really affected by it, but also it seems like it depends on where you're looking. So the 5600 XT launched, and it was not as smooth a launch as people wanted, which is fair, and by people I mean especially reviewers. And it is weird to see people in the general public being so heated about it. It's like, I'm not sure how necessary that is, but anyway. It launched, and with the new BIOS, I just want to look here, nothing. With the new V-BIOS, there was some reviews putting it, like, matching the 2060, which is interesting because of it, because of the response, and that itself is also interesting, with NVIDIA and EVGA having RTX 2060 models that are at $300. So much better argument to purchase one of those just based on pricing. So that is one of those things. This is good for people. What is unfortunate, though, is that the VBIOS situation is that not even all the onboard partners apparently have a BIOS package yet. Like, I saw something, and this may not be true at the time this is being recorded or the time that it is actually played. Because remember, I record these on Friday because I can't trust my internet connection for streaming anymore. But I think I saw that Gigabyte is one that they haven't released the... I thought that was something to grab onto. It is not. A new version of the VBIOS for their 5600. Cool. So that does complicate things. And MSI is apparently in a weird situation too, where the mech, which is... There isn't a reference model, to be clear. There is no reference 5600 XT, but basically that is a reference 5600 XT. It's, completely referenced the original specs that AMD announced that are technically... Well, they're not true with the new BIOS that is from AMD, and thus is not necessarily running out of spec. And, oh boy, and it gets even more complicated with MSI too, because they have the Gaming X model, was it? Come on. No. Okay, this is getting... There we go. He really should have been grabbing on there. But what I was seeing, and I was seeing that... I was seeing this on the Hardware Unboxed channel talking about it. That... Sorry, I'm trying to also pay attention to this stuff. I can dump that. Why do I still have it? Oh, it is stronger than both those sets. But I can dump that. Wow, that's a lot. Health on... Okay, that's right. That's why I'm holding on. So they have the Gaming X version, which will not be getting the full BIOS change. Because apparently there are going to be some versions of the BIOS that are fully enabling all the stuff and versions without. And MSI apparently won't use the full thing because, and it's fair, the GDDR6 modules might not support the 14 gigabit per second bandwidth that the new BIOS in its full form would enable. Let me wake this guy up. I'm not sure if I can do anything with him yet, but I still want him. Yeah, because I'm pretty sure it's... Oh, no. This is... See, it's... there we go. That's what I need to... But... Auto Unbox, they were reporting that there will be a Gaming Z version that will have the certified, the validated 14 gigabit per second. So it's not to say that the Gaming X versions can't do 14 gigabit. It's just MSI cannot guarantee it, so they don't want to push it out for everything, which is completely fair and legitimate. And this is leading to many to declare this a horrible launch. And yeah, it's not necessarily that great, but it is still kind of funny when you think about it, because it's like the launch is weird because AMD put out a BIOS that substantially, it seems, increases performance. this is generally a good thing. It's just messy, unfortunately. But have some people saying that, oh, the only people that really it's... I don't know why the term is debated, but that was used with the whole 5700 series release because AMD dropped the pricing after NVIDIA announced its Super series. And people are saying that AMD just messed up, and it's like, but at the end of the day, it's still, from my perspective at least, the user is getting a better product. That's a good thing, I thought. Okay. Yeah. So, but fortunately, even if I were to buy one, I wouldn't and tried to buy one day one. I wouldn't have been impacted because I probably would have stuck with. I've been very happy with my Sapphire Pulse. My RX 580 Sapphire Pulse that's in the desktop right now is rendering all that you are seeing right now. I've been very happy with that. I probably would have stuck with it, and I have been seeing that their response is basically we did our best to make sure that even the day one 5600 XT pulses have the new BIOS, and if we missed it, we'll still take care of you. I don't remember if that was we'll take care of you by sending you, RMA it, we replace it, or we got the stuff needed to actually, the software to upgrade it. What? Oh, thorns, okay. Now let's go to that act. The thorns should be nice. That I'm pretty sure is the I get attacked, it hurts. And I did see one person describing it. I don't know how accurate this is, but that seems to be the companies that have the fewer SKUs, because apparently Sapphire only has the Pulse for the 5600, that they basically have it handled. It's companies that have multiple, like MSI, that it's more complicated. That it does seem to be that there are problems. There. Nope. There. There. Now let's go. But it's still, the reviews I've seen put it as basically being an exceptional card with the VBIOS. What I haven't seen yet is stuff covering the overclocking. I haven't been looking too closely, I will admit. But at least it's sounding like it's possible that the card will be running at its peak with this VBIOS, so there isn't necessarily much overclocking headroom on it. Which, to be fair, is not a bad thing. I mean, yeah, I know overclocking. The site is Overclock's Club. So overclocking is important, but it's also a good thing when you don't feel you need to do that. I wasn't sure if that would happen, and it did. And also personally, I think, I have the 580 undervolted. I could overclock it. I just see, because especially with all the different P states, I don't really want to try to bother overclocking a GPU. It just seems very complicated and potentially messy. But undervolting I like. And I did find with this, with this GPU, it does run cooler and is more consistently at its boost clock. That's when was that in Just Cause 4 that I was doing those tests? I know that was one of the things that I did look at. I just don't remember There we go. I just don't remember what else I may have looked at. But yeah, its undervolting is very nice, and it's also nice because it works with the boost algorithms. So you undervolt GPU or you undervolt CPU, so it runs cooler, it will start clocking. It has the ability to clock higher. Or at least to stay higher longer. And I do remember one thing, it is, I mentioned it, was it in the test? No, that wouldn't have been in the test. Somewhere I'd mentioned that with the replacement Vega 64 I got, that I did, oh crap, wrong button. There we go. That I did my best to try to replicate what I had with the original reference card, which when I undervolted, and I think I found I was able to undervolt the new one better. But I did try to tune it so that it wouldn't go above the stock clocks, because that would have been an issue for comparing stuff between old and new data. There. And he is able to just come right out of that. But yeah, so with the new BIOS though, some of the data it's showing, it matches the 2060. Now obviously it doesn't have the RTX stuff like the ray tracing, which I'm sorry, I don't think it's a big deal. And DLSS, which personally I don't like. So it's... I'm sorry, the ray tracing is not a big deal yet. We don't have something where it's like, oh no, you need to have it. When you've literally had decades of work getting lighting and rasterization and shadows as close as possible to ray tracing, you do have something pretty close, and it performs well. So, yeah. So the idea that we need ray tracing is... it's nonsensical to me. I mean, personally, you want to see an actual graphics revolution? See what happens the first time they figure out how to do accurately rendered fire. That will change things. Because there is no game that really, really does a good job of it. Oh, yeah, I can give it a the... That may work. It did not. Okay. All I can do is boost these. Well, that's... Still stronger, but, that. Same thing, I mean, really any fluid. And it's like water as well. Because there's so many ways, it's just, it doesn't look that good. It looks like what it is, a simple animation that's just repeated over and over again. It's like, you know, let's see that be beat. But that's also a much harder thing to achieve. So, yeah, I'm just like that. I have to grant that is harder to achieve than ray tracing, because we've had ray tracing longer than we've had rasterization. We know how to achieve that. And the simulation stuff is like, well, yeah, technically we do, but that kind of brute force stuff is not easy. Though I do remember, I think I wrote it up quite a while ago. No. The idea of using pre-computing for some stuff. it was specifically looking at fabric simulation. Where the idea is basically you have a supercomputer. This may sound a little familiar, like another technology. Do all of the math to figure out, okay, what is the behavior for fabric? And then let's compress that down, like just straight zip it kind of stuff, and give it to a GPU, and have the GPU just load up, okay, with these input variables, this is what that thing, this reference file says it should do. Alright, let's do that. It's an amazing idea. I don't know of anything that uses it, though. Which is really a shame. It's also a shame the whole, hey, you can dash, except that it will still let you take damage. I need to... Yeah, let's use these. And I would think you could apply that to basically anything that's computationally intensive in a game, like actual live simulation. And another thing that they also concluded in that study was that it's not like you need to have all of the data results either. You would be able to have an accurate simulation and drop out some. You know, basically do some lossy compression instead of lossless. How many people are happy with MP3s? It's like, that's lossy compression. Gives you something much smaller, easier in some cases also to work with. Same idea. So I will also say, FLAC is very fast. Part of the reason I use it as an intermediary step for some stuff. I need to... How did you not come over to attack me? Seriously. Good. There it is. Oh, I just remembered. I've been building up the chaos meter. Oh, that's right. That is something I think is the case. It is mainly just with the sides. I thought it was just the side has a bonus to it. So something else that is interesting, that the $300 EVGA RTX 2060 KO, Gamers Nexus did what they normally do with GPUs. They tear it apart and they look at it. They noticed something very interesting, that depending... I mean, it's funny though that they said, you know, this is so unusual. It's like NVIDIA did something like this just with the 1060. Yeah, I took damage while transforming. That is not appropriate. But they found that for the KO, it is not using a standard 2060 die, which is the TU-106 die, and some other basic numbers there, but TU-106. It's using TU-104, which some of you may be aware of, is the GPU of the 2080 and 2070 Super. It does have parts disabled, so you're not getting that level of performance out of a 2060. That would be insanity. Well, you do kind of get it, but only for certain workloads is what they found. Some professional compute kind of workloads. They found out. again, it is absolute bullshit. You should be able to dodge, to dash through attacks. Anyway, yeah, so that is definitely interesting. It's not surprising, though, when you really think about it. It's basically just how this stuff works. Like, you cannot... I need to use... I don't want to use that health potion, but I have to, because these guys are bullshit. Or rather, no, they are kind of bullshit. It's like, I'm clearly dodging attacks, and it's like, nah, we just turn and hit you. And our attacks are that wide that we do just, you know, hit you. They also have way too much health for two of them. I mean, true, that could just be because it's the definitive difficulty I'm on. But I need serious health regen outside of the pots, outside of the potions. Come on, reload! I also use that being improved. And I don't remember if there is a way to do that. More damage on would also be nice, but right now I would very much just enjoy faster reload. Yeah, it does seem like when you stop firing, if you leave one, it reloads faster, but it's also has that stupid thing where it locks you to a walking speed. Yeah, so see how it's taking longer? Oh wait, no, it's just not updating the screen. This is one of those polished kind of things that you would have hoped would have been found and fixed prior to release even. But certainly since this is the Deathinitive Edition, or Deathinitive, I keep wanting to put that extra F in there. How? He turned around. How? How did he turn around? No. There we go. But yeah, I mean, so there's just more variants now of the 2060. But for gaming performance, what they were saying is it's the same. You don't have to worry about that. But some professional workloads, it was performing better at. Now it is going to complicate things because of the fact that means you may need to find out what version, what die you have in a new 2060. But as I said, this is something that NVIDIA's done before. There were 5 or 6 variants of this 1060, including a version that was a 1080, a GTX 1080 die, damn it, that was stuff disabled. That came near the end of the product cycle, the end of of its life, but it was very much a thing. And I know video cards at least had a thing showing it. Nope. Sorry, showing all the variants. Because there really were a lot. I'm not kidding when I said there were 5 or 6. Because there were also some versions that had 5 gig of RAM instead of 6. There was, of course, the 3 and the 6. Just, how do I get over it? Wait a minute. Need to kill that thing. Need to also figure out where they're coming from, though. Hey! Leveled up. Killing what should arguably be the least important enemy. So yeah, it's definitely an interesting situation. With all that. Alright, now let me just check. What else have I written here? Okay. Two things, both rumor, both concerning future GP. So one, and I think I wrote that up. I wrote it up. Rumor that concerning the specifications and capabilities of the what could be the RTX 3080. And it's the part to it that does make some sense to me, because some of it doesn't. I'm sorry, some of this stuff that's claiming that we'll see like a 50% performance improvement. I already talked about how I don't believe that. I don't believe that'll happen from Turing. You're going from Turing to Ampere. It's like, yeah, 7 nanometers is nice, but I don't think it's going to be that nice. It also just seems very unlikely to me for other reasons, because like, in order to achieve that, we're talking about not only a huge performance uplift from the node, but also an architectural performance uplift. Turing's a very nicely made architecture, in part because it's very similar to Pascal, which was nice, and was based on Maxwell, which was nice. So, would, when going to a completely new process node, NVIDIA really decide to also come up with a completely new architecture? I just... That could have such architectural improvements, I just find that doubtful. And I talked about that in one of the previous streams as well, where that uplift would make sense if you limit it to just, say, ray tracing performance, because I do not doubt Ampere will have a second generation ray tracing core too. I should not have done that yet. Okay. And such a unit, which would be which would have significant architectural improvements, I would be fully willing to believe, would potentially allow for that kind of performance uplift. I just, for general rasterization, it's like, I think I'd want to see that actually happen before I'll believe it. But the idea that the announcement could be coming at GTC in March, yeah, that makes sense. I don't see anything wrong with that, except there had been some things that made it sound like, you know, rumors, previous rumors that it's going to be late, that it would be later in the year. So we'll just have to see. But the other rumor is concerning, basically Big Knob, the GPU that is supposedly going to be the NVIDIA killer from AMD. And that this is saying it'll be 80 CUs, 80 compute units, which the 5700 XT is 40, as I recall, which means that clock for clock, so at the same clock speed between this Navi 21 and Navi 10 GPUs, this 80 CU GPU should be twice as powerful at the same clock speeds. That much larger might not... You know, things get complicated then, so it might not actually be able to run at the same clocks, if all things were equal, since you... Come on. There we go. This area, I'm pretty sure, is a little bit of a shuffle kind of thing. Alright, there. Yeah, I can. No reason. There, so just here. But then it, you know, if all things were equal, you'd probably expect, because it would be a larger die, take more power, produce more heat. I want to make sure that that was still sealed. That would then you know, you wouldn't expect the clock as high. But even one of the older rumors that I remember, like back to before the 5700 series launched, said that the big Navi would be more power efficient. And there were things said at CES that also would, to an extent. You hit I to open up inventory, it gives you that menu instead. Anyway, these other things would also suggest to a degree that Navi 21, which is supposedly the GPU that will, the actual die that will be used, could be, yeah, let's equip that, could be, more efficient. I mentioned in the previous one that the stuff that they learned when doing the, new APUs, there we go. Do I want to get rid of that? I don't think I want to get rid of that. Can't get rid of that. This is one thing I do remember being annoying. Okay, so I can get rid of the green armor. That's there. That's what I have equipped. I think it might be best to just leave it until I get a clear upgrade. It's like, why? And I also, okay, yeah, so that's, I think it might be something that I said earlier, that it is, you get wrath mainly from the, these attacks. The, scythe attacks. But yeah, so we could end up seeing the big Navi be more power efficient. But again, well, that's a rumor that has been around for a while, so it would seem then to be potentially more accurate. Damn it. But again, until we see it, we won't know. And I don't recall any rumors for when, oh, it is open. When it may become available or announced. We'll just have to wait and see. But one thing, though, that because it is believed it will be second generation Navi, Navi 20 whatever, specifically Navi 21, but there would likely be other variants. It should have the hardware accelerated ray tracing, which will be very interesting to see, because the expectation based on some patents is that AMD's approach will be quite different from NVIDIA's, which will make it very interesting to see that compare both to RTX 20 series, which performance-wise, that's what people basically kind of expecting it will compete with. It's hard to, people basically are counter-hype training the performance compared to potential Ampere GPUs. You know, basically that there's a lot less hope that AMD will manage to close the gap in GPUs. Only time will tell. There's definitely reasons why NVIDIA's held its position for so long. Some of those are kind of underhanded marketing things, but it is also, they do have very good GPUs. It's like, you cannot doubt their hardware, but you can question some of their business practices. At least in my opinion, you can. So, yeah, but the different accelerated ray tracing strategies could be very interesting, I think. What am I hearing? Oh, they're right there. Okay. I don't know if I want to try going over there. I don't think I can. At least not yet. I might get what I need to do later. Or it's these guys. Or it's just this stuff that I was hearing. What? There we go. I took more damage when trying to dash through them than when they actually hit me. Huh? Oh. The gun is the best way to build up wrath. Ow. Boy, I kind of miss Darksiders. The first one. War would have just, been through these guys. But that is kind of the pain of RPG systems. That you can then be in a situation where you definitely feel underpowered for where you should be. Because, if you just don't get good drops, then you're weaker than should be. And it's not completely, it's an element of randomness, so you can't get rid of it via development all the time. Nope, there. See? This also doesn't make sense. It is a higher level, but does less damage. Come on, do the thing I've been hitting the button telling you to do for a little bit now. Shit. Damn it. I really don't think I'm doing the correct amount of damage for where I am. These guys are way more powerful than they should be. And I have to do the entire thing over again. And because of it being, not necessarily incorrectly, but the fact that it's all checkpoint means you basically are never at an advantage. It's like, it is nice in some games where you die and it's, okay, you now have full health again? But that's not the situation here. It also is nice when, you don't get constantly backstabbed because you're stuck in a stupid long animation. And it's also nice when you can use... Oh wait, no, that was resource set. But there were definitely times I was not being allowed to do something because it's like, oh, you're just in an animation. It's like, no, cancel the animation, please. Anyway, going back to the GPU stuff, and specifically the accelerated ray tracing. The patent, and I've talked about it more than one time before, suggests... See, like right now, I should be able to do it. Because all that happened was I was just attacked, but there's no reason I can't initiate that. So it's very weird, but... And by the way, what the hell do I... Oh, here. What can I do? I might as well do something like that, but... I think there is something that makes the Reaper form regenerate health. I just don't remember. Just do it now. Bullshit! I'm sorry, you shouldn't be while transforming into a form that is invulnerable. You do not... I am taking damage. That's bullshit. You should not be taking damage right now. And I'm dead. And why doesn't enter frickin' work for confirm? Anyway, the patent for AMD's accelerated ray tracing would be to have the texture processors do it. Which is interesting because if that is the case, then that would mean that it's a component that is already there having to do it. Which is potentially very advantageous. Because that means you are not you're not using up silicon for something, for a feature that may not be used too much. Actually, legitimately won't be used much. So, that is potentially quite significant, especially when you are also talking about the cost of the GPU, because if that lets it be smaller, then you could hypothetically have two GPUs, one from AMD, one from NVIDIA, that, let's just forgive certain differences between the architectures that allow NVIDIA GPUs to be better. And basically my point is that all of the things being equal, their performance is equal. If you do that, then you would be able to have the AMD GPU potentially cheaper because it wouldn't have to be as large. I'm dead, by the way. I'm not getting close. Yeah, I do not understand. I don't know if I would have questioned this on the normal difficulty, but this is definitely not an appropriate challenge for where I am. There's no way 2 Stalkers is appropriate. And again, what is with this instantaneous turnaround? What is going on with that? That's just wrong. They shouldn't be able to do that. Because that's a decided and disturbing advantage to these enemies. Especially when one of your abilities, one of the primary first abilities you can get, is a dash through them. And again, why the hell am I able to take damage while teleporting? There are flaws to the game. But yeah, you could end up going back to the ray tracing thing. You could end up seeing an equally performing GPUs, AMD and NVIDIA, the AMD one being cheaper by virtue of the fact it doesn't need dedicated RT cores. It can use a component that's normally there anyway. That could prove very interesting. Stop doing that. I don't want to initiate the one attack. I also didn't want to jump backwards. Thank you for doing what I didn't want. So I want to do those attacks, but not that one. But it's just... I also want to be able to dodge around. And I know this is part of my frustration is because of how I control in a game like this, where I spam click and then I dodge to get out. So the whole it intercepting that, and especially the whole it's intercepting it and doing something where he stands still. That could have been an interesting discussion among the developers. It's like, should we really have an ability that's connected to you dodging that has the character not move? I would hope that there would be people being like, you know, we should probably actually have him move with that attack. Because if you don't, then you run into the situation of you have a button that only has one function, except in this case. It's like it only has you dodge, except when you are also attacking, which would also be the time that you would most likely be needing to dodge. I also think that would have been amazing to see that discussion of, let's allow him to take damage in weaker form. Holy shit! That was horrible. Absolutely horrible, and even inexcusable. It's like I'm coming out of a transition. I can't do anything, and I got hit, what, 3 times? By the same 2 enemies? No, can't. Exactly that one. Oh shit. Nope, shit! I'm sorry, it's exceedingly frustrating when it's like, literally, I wanted to dodge, but because I locked on so I could get the health, I couldn't dodge correctly. Because the camera changes and the dodge behavior changes. There's a reason I do not lock on. There really is. It's a horrible camera when you're locked on in this game. Yeah, I desperately need health on hit. I mean, it's just... In no way is there enough health right now. In no way am I doing enough damage. This is horrible. This is complete... You know, kill me. It is... I cannot... It is thoroughly unbalanced for me right now. Is the situation. Yeah, it just is. Because I can't... even these guys, these should be trash mobs. They're not. They are actually killing me. And there is little I can do about that. Whereas these same mobs, by this point in Darksiders War Master, even at the higher difficulty, I was handling. This would not have been as bad. Now, part of that was also the more reliable dodging. But that was much easier to handle. Whereas here, and true, there is the argument that, well, death is not supposed to be like war. He's not supposed to be the... Come on. You son of a bitch! I'm sorry, it locked me out because I got hit. Okay, that's fine. But it then went a step further because I didn't start moving afterwards where it was like he was stunned and then he just locked in the stun. I couldn't do it. It's like, that's polish kind of stuff that, considering the age of the game, not really acceptable. It should have been noted, should have been dealt with. And arguably, you could also say that because, at least on PC, I don't even want to know how it would control on console, that you should not have have it where there was ever a time that you're locked out of your abilities, except when you don't have the Wrath for it. The reason I say that is because it is too awkward to call them up. That it shouldn't be you called up, but now you need to back out because, oh, you can't actually do that yet. It's like, that's nonsensical. And also, I'd like to point out just how horrible this situation is, where all I'm doing is blind firing for my camera, trying to dodge around to not be killed. And unfortunately, it won't matter. I am still going to die. Would you please do the obvious thing of shooting the enemies? Finally. That took too much time and too much effort to do. It definitely was not balanced. And some of it was that polished stuff I was ranting about. Not all, but some of it definitely. I do see what I need to do, but I want to do this stuff first. And also, do I? Alright, yeah, equip that. Okay, I do have one. I'm not going to use it, but I do have one health potion. Okay. I don't think I have anything to do but, that. You know, come down and take care of this. Come on. Come on. Come on. There we go. I'm just... What is... Where is this? Oh, okay. And how long have I been going? Just now past an hour. I want to keep going further because I just... I feel like I might be getting close to stuff. And I also want to hit that. Shit. What I'm close to is something I don't want to be close to. Damn it. Also, does anyone else think it's kind of weird that we literally went from a fight with 2 stalkers, which at this point are heavy enemies, that technically not, they should be more medium enemies, to another fight with 2 guys that are also this? I'm just like literally like 2-3 rooms apart, and there's no opportunity between to heal. I mean, the game doesn't really afford any mechanism for healing except the health potions, so there's also that issue, but I mean, seriously, when you think about it, it's like, why are these enemies placed like this? Holy crap! Why does he have so much health? I am not going to survive this. I think they have more health than the Stalkers. They're just easier to deal with, because they're a bit slower. But the fact there's 2 of them somewhat negates that. Come on, there we go. You know, as frustrating as the necessity of dodging was in Darksiders 3, at least it was effective. I do not feel that his dodges are effective. Why? Why are they here? Because, I mean, the fight was already annoying. It doesn't need to be more annoying with these guys. Okay. See how much health I lost there? Bullshit. Shit. Also the whole that dodging is a triple thing, so that third one leaves you vulnerable is also a kind of thing. I mean, when you consider how questionable the dodge is to begin with, it's weird that it's, well, on the third dodge. Oh, I killed the thing. On the third dodge, it actually, like, straight up stops you dead. Alright. Okay, I will get rid of the hand. There. Ooh. To be honest, it's hard to decide between because I don't really want to give up strength, because like if I can just kill them faster, then I don't need as much defense. But it still is the whole issue of, you know, some of this really doesn't feel that effective. At least I didn't constantly die with that and need to redo it. It also helped, though, that that room was way more conducive to, you know, actually dodging and having some control of the fight versus that small circular arena where a lot of the time I didn't even see where they were. Okay, I do kind of remember what's coming. Let me get a drink of water. I will do it now. But if I remember correctly, that guy is corrupted, so I'm gonna have to fight him. And I think it stands as the boss fight for this. I don't completely remember. Oh crap. Damn it, I keep forgetting it's a different control. I was hitting middle mouse, and that's not it. It's a different button. It was middle mouse in Darksiders, though. I just did that. Remember I was complaining about the lock-on camera? Yeah, just kill me. I mean, that was total bullshit. That was the game base deciding, hey, you know what? We're just gonna skew things against you right now. But yeah, it just... First, it gave me an animation being like, hey, you know, you can do this. It's like, I know, I just did that. Why are you not letting me see the thing in front of me that I need to deal with? To then oh, you're locked on. So we're going to put the camera now behind things so you can't actually see. And we're going to have more enemies spawn right where you need to be. And they're just going to wail on you so you can't attack the thing you're trying to attack. And they're killing you. Bit excessive. Okay. I'm dead. Holy shit, how did I not die in that? Son of a bitch! Bullshit! That was not cool, dude! Oh crap. Come, let me move! It won't let me move. Bullshit, I was clearly, unquestionably in the air and got hit by the ground pound attack. Also, this is like, I mean, okay, come on, admit it. Who designed this? Who designed this fight? Because, I mean, come on. That was... Was that you, Joe? I mean, come on, Joe. You don't have enemies spawn in at the point you're supposed to attack. How the hell? What the hell just happened? Also, I'm not winning. In case anyone was at all thinking I might, I'm not. It's not gonna happen because I mean, look at this. Shit! Why? I hate the lock-on. It seems to exist more to make the game harder than it does to actually service the player. It's also, these guys, seriously, burn in hell. There is nothing about this boss fight that is well balanced. It has an attack that the entire area takes damage. Well, almost the entire area. It doesn't quite cover it, but it mostly does. And I tried jumping over it, didn't work. It spawns in enemies at a point you need to go to attack. to win this fight. It spawns in multiple that you cannot handle that quickly, and it is a timer, not damage. It is timer-based for the thing you're trying to damage to go back. So basically, it has a very strong defense. Even though the thing is vulnerable, it's like, yeah, but we have, this very effective wall. And then it also kept spawning them in case you didn't know. So he always gets 3 more. So the fact that I didn't kill previous ones, the new one, when I did it again, the new one's coming up, there were now more enemies. And then lastly, this whole thing that you have to grab this and throw it. Oh, if you grab it though, when you're holding it, if you get hit, it explodes. Additionally, they are already primed. So when he attacks, like the ground pound thing, it destroys them. Including if you're standing right next to them trying to pick them up because you need to try to pick them up. Way too many things going on here. That, like, cut them in half, it would be better. Like, if you just made it where, yes, let the enemies still appear, but not at his feet, not right there, if you had them appear anywhere else, wouldn't be so bad. It truly, truly would not be so bad. But that's not the situation. There. I need resources. And so I'm gonna use the thing that is, it's kind of stupid. I mean, it's like, oh yeah, you can just fast travel out and get stuff and then fast travel back in. It's like, why don't we just not have it ever feel like you need to do that? It's like I'm about to buy more, might as well pop one.
In the forest, awaken him, horseman, or you will never escape. There are new talismans for you to browse.
You kidding? Why does she have limited? Legitimately, why is she limited on that? What purpose does that serve except to frustrate a player? Because let's have something that is crucial to survival. Not have let's have where there's no reliable source for that. This is a bad idea. This is not a good idea. This is a bad idea. I don't know. Let me see. Let me first do this. Oh, I can't. They're fully upgraded. Fully upgraded.
I have to go alone.
I want to look at upgrade. I mean, 1 or 2 of those abilities might also help me, but I don't think I finished saying it, but if they cut, instead of having the enemies spawn at the thing you're trying to attack, but drop in on the sides and run in, it would be, that in some ways would be a small change, would completely alter the balance of the fight though, because now you can consistently do damage to the thing that you need to do damage to, while still being attacked. While still having that be an issue. Yeah, I can...
This should go nicely with the others.
No, I wanted to look at it. But I think I can, actually, so...
Valis will put that to good use.
No.
This should
Yeah, I
go
think
nice
that's all
with
that,
the
though.
others.
Actually, yeah, good. Alright. No. Not bad. But it is still true, I have a certain aversion to buying things, because I do feel that if the situation is you need to go and buy stuff, then your balance for drops isn't appropriate. Because it's like, when you can't rely on what you earn by the drops, then what's the point? This? See, that I feel
Well, thank you,
maybe
horse.
worth it. I mean, that's substantially better. To sell. Now, unfortunately, I can't afford any new skills. Because the ones I was interested in all start at 10,000. So yeah, all I can really do now is head back. That. There. And keep trying. Keep smashing my head against it. Because this is definitely head smashing. Also a threat. Even if you didn't have those enemies spawning in, he'd still be a threat. This would still be a hard fight. Because he has attacks that are very hard to avoid. Come on! And also the game itself fights you. And you can't dodge with that. I mean, it's... The little construct guys, thoroughly unnecessary. That they really are just aggravating. No, there we go. Son of a bitch! I would have been able to throw it, but it's like, nah, I'm just gonna lock on to the other guy. I know he was closer, but still... son of a bitch. There's too much here. They need to not be there, or at least be handled differently, or not have as much health as they do. They're too big a threat for what is going on. No. There we go. Mine exploded. Thank you. Run. No, come. Hit the button to do something. Let's not do it. Need to run. Ow. Come on. It is so awkward because it's not like you just need to point to in the correct direction. How many times? And it never said I could use it? How many? How many times would that have been acceptable? None? Okay, I definitely nailed him with the thing. Why is he not in pieces? I mean, true, I really should take care of these assholes first, but... Seriously! Stop this! You're kidding. I need to run away now. Yeah, there are far too many ways that you are damaged, or can be damaged in this. Maybe that's what happened. They exploded in the air, which, I'm sorry, that's now we scripted so that does not happen. Because that's bullshit. It really is. It's like, no, it's hard enough to get to one. Shit, I'm dead. I need to... you were compelled to run, but at the same time, okay. But at the same time, you can't see where you are or what is going on. Okay, he needs to not be able to constantly have these things rain down and then destroy them. Finally. I have no idea how I'm going to get health back right now, by the way. That will help, though. That's the construct whose soul I need. Yeah, let's equip it. But yeah, I don't know how I'm gonna get health back. I genuinely... Well, hold on, maybe one of these chests. Because I can't buy more, she's out. Good. Come on. And it's not like there's a spot that will heal you. Even then, I'm not healed to full from one of these things. Alright. I think this is the soul we need. I could be wrong. He isn't corrupted yet. This has been a long one. But just, it didn't make sense to stop before some of these, so...
You may ache, Warden, but you're not corrupted. Not yet.
Corrupted? Then it was not a dream. The Makers have need of me.
The Makers say that you can reach the Foundry, and that a Guardian lies within.
The Foundry, yes. It is where I was cast. But it was lost. And now, you will need my help.
Corruption spreads across your realm, and you slumber.
Stone is heavy. It is easier to rest. In my dreams, I can move again. In my dreams, I am flesh.
This place, what was it?
I cannot tell you. It's on the tip of my tongue, but my tongue seems to be elsewhere.
Will you help me, Old One?
Yes.
Shall we?
Hold on, little one.
So yeah, I might need to come back to get that chest that was behind him.
In my slumber, I have felt the Guardian reaching into my dreams. He is the strongest of us all, but in his heart there is a hunger. The Guardian was built to destroy. He has much in common with corruption. You must speak with Adar and make your peace before we cross over. There may be no crossing back.
There is, though. We are able to come back later. Okay. Sleep. I can just fast travel. There. Yes. We can do that, save, and get out of here. Leave some stuff for the next part. And also, there are things I need to do. Arguably, I should not have spent so much time. So it is safe. Alright. I think I accidentally crashed the game because I alt-tab, but it's okay. It did save, it was in the process of closing, so it's not a big deal. Anyway, see you next time. Hopefully the next part won't be so long. Unless there's another level to do, another dungeon to do, I don't think it will need to be. I could even see it being under an hour, depending. Well, if I remember everything correctly, there was a boss fight. That may end up stretching it, depending, but yeah. Anyway, see you next time.